Okay, well, today is an incredibly exciting day for Harrisburg because today is the day that we are going to embark upon reversing one of the worst engineering decisions in our city's modern history. And that was the idea that to serve commuters, we would develop a superhighway basically running through this residential strip of the city of Harrisburg, designed to get people out of the city as quickly as possible. Today we look at this and we realize not only is it not safe for our pedestrians, it doesn't create the feel of a walkable city, but it also disconnects our residents from the river. We've talked about returning 2nd Street to its original two-way origins now for over a generation, and we're finally able to do it after years of planning, public meetings, securing grant funding from the Commonwealth and elsewhere. We've put it all together in a wonderful package under the rubric of Vision Zero, which is the city's commitment to ending pedestrian-related fatalities. Now you can see some of the amazing designs, but the bottom line is 2nd Street will go two ways. It will be much safer for all who live in the area. And you're going to see a much more accessible street for everyone. We are at this corner in part because you can see the old brick is not accessible. You could not get a wheelchair up and through this intersection properly, and this is where they will start today to dig up the ramps, redo the sidewalk, and prepare eventually to do the conversion within the street. This project is part of a series of other projects that are going on throughout the city right now. If you go up to 7th Street, you'll see that they're in the process of completing that street, which will end in a roundabout at the new federal courthouse, putting in a two-way cycle track, etc. But a lot of the traffic, which previously used 2nd Street to cut through the city, is now being encouraged to go up to 7th Street. And 7th Street is essentially being created as a much easier road to traverse, in part because we're removing that annoying parking structure that was in the middle of 7th Street out in front of FIA. That's currently in the process of being done right now. Those two projects are connected and they will be finishing at about the same time next year. But also, during this year, we will begin the process of completely renovating our most dangerous corridor in the city, which is State Street. And I want to also say that that project is done through collaboration with our engineering team, but also with PennDOT, which is going to be actually paying for those changes to the street, and it's going to help make that corridor much safer. State Street is essentially part of the Foster Street corridor as well. It's another major entrance and access point to the downtown, and we've got to remember that we're trying to unite those residents as well. And then next year we have big plans to completely change the intersection at Front and Foster Street, which is also a part of this plan. Now, this project will carry over into next year before the conversion of two-way actually happens. At one point, there was discussion, maybe we take it two-way and then do the work. But it makes sense to do that conversion at the end. It makes sense to do it after we've done the transformation of the intersection there at Front and Forster, which is going to include new bump outs, new greenery, other traffic calming measures, and make that dangerous intersection safer for our residents. So there's a lot planned in the city. It's all part of a comprehensive Vision Zero commitment to making Harrisburg more walkable and safer for all. And all of it is under the supervision of our city engineer. And we're lucky to have him here with us today. So Wayne Martin, why don't you talk about some of the really innovative and exciting features of this project?
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. So this project here, I'd like to just briefly mention the project team. So this was put together through the Office of City Engineer. The team of Wallace Montgomery, who are here today, did the design work. The low bid contractor, is JVI Group, who's also represented here today. And our inspection and construction management will be done by urban engineers, also present today. The project has a construction price tag of $5,721,284.44. The mayor had mentioned the two-way conversion that's currently scheduled for April 19th of 2022. So that is the scheduled date that it will convert to two-way. Prior to the two-way conversion, the work will start right here where we're standing and across the street here with ADA ramps. So we will be building ADA compliant ramps and crosswalks, not just along 2nd Street, all the side streets, but also obviously across 2nd Street. If you go up and down the corridor, there are no safe, except for maybe Maclay and Forrester and Division. There are no ADA accessible crosswalks currently across 2nd Street. That's going to change, and every intersection will be ADA compliant pedestrian crosswalk. We also eliminating some traffic signals up as part of the project. So 3 intersections will be changed from signalized intersections to mini roundabouts. Those intersections are Kelker, Verbeck, which that's the one rendering, and Riley Street. There's also a raised intersection in the north end of the project at Radnor. The mini roundabouts also have raised crosswalks, another pedestrian enhancement, and then throughout the corridor there are pedestrian refuge areas like this here that allow a pedestrian to cross the road in two increments, one for the northbound and one for the southbound, or vice versa, depending on the direction that you're traveling. Excuse me. The corridor is now designed for a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. So the biking amenities that were part of the one concept that was brought to the public during the public outreach was not selected by the public. Instead, we'll be utilizing Sharrows, share the road. But since the traffic calming features should bring the speeds down from the current speed limits of about 40 miles an hour down to design speed of 25 miles an hour, it would actually be a comfortable corridor for some individuals to ride bicycles. In addition to this project, the mayor mentioned other projects, and I'm pleased to announce that in the next couple hours we're going to release 2 projects to public bidding. One is the long-awaited Mulder Square project, which is another mini roundabout at the intersection of Derry and Mulder Street. That contract will have a June 30 of 2021 to June 30 of 2022 construction period planned. Still waiting on finalizing some grants for that, but that'll go live here in the next couple hours on Penn bid. And also the Allison Hill paving project, which is paving a number of streets, including Hale, South 15th Street, to a few other streets in Allison Hill. That project will also go live here in the next couple hours on Penn bid. So with that, that's all I have.
I'll add a couple more things, Wayne. That's just point out these are the Sharrows, which it's not a dedicated bike lane, but it is marked for bicyclists. A lot of roundabouts. You just mentioned another one in Mulder Square at Derry and Mulberry, but that's going to make a roundabout in Allison Hill, a roundabout on 7th Street, and the many roundabouts that are here on 2nd Street, all in construction basically at the same time. The design features are going to slow traffic down. We did a study of speeds along 2nd Street in preparation for this, and we found that the speed limit was routinely exceeded by double what it was. And this will slow traffic down, encourage people to share the roads, and just make it safer for all involved. Again, I want to mention that we had a series of community meetings. We solicited a lot of feedback from the public. We worked with PennDOT, and our design team has done a really wonderful job of putting all this together. And it will include, at the end, a complete resurfacing of 2nd Street. So the street will be completely repaved, as will, along with all the other paving projects that you just heard about going on throughout the city and currently going out to bid. Together, it represents this year and next in excess of $10 million of paving and design projects that the city is currently overseeing. And this is just the start of a comprehensive redesign of all of our neighborhood streets and we have plans to continue investing on a yearly basis moving forward, especially now that the city will be exiting distressed status, regaining its credit rating this year, and is in a position to really begin financing these projects en masse. So lots of great news. We are going to break ground by digging up some dirt, but maybe before you move, if you have any questions for me or the design team, we'd be happy to take them. Sure.
What does the actual work on the road starts, and what will those detours be in place?
So there's, and Wayne, you can do this, but they're starting outside the actual roadway. That's one of the reasons to minimize the inconvenience. Currently, they'll be working on the side. But do you have we can go through a rough schedule, I think.
Yeah,
Come up to the mic so they can.
sorry. So the work will actually start right here where we're standing, or across the street. You'll see the pink markings on the road. Those are the PA1 calls. So the utilities are going to come in, mark where their assets are. But there'll be a physical cut along the curb line, maybe a foot or 2 feet off the roadway. So this area will be excavated, stoned in, and then concrete will be poured for the curb, and then concrete poured for the ramp, and create ADA compliant ramps. So that kind of work is going to happen, starting on this side, moving up from south to north. We may have to shift over to the other side because there's some other work that's also going to happen. So we have some inlets to add, to replace, and then there's new street light going in on the project. Not a complete corridor relighting, but particularly around the new urban roundabouts. There'll be some additional street lighting added and some replaced. So there'll be some trenching for conduit for street lighting. So that work will, all three will sort of happen in the next 6 weeks, say. When all the ADA ramps are finished, and I forget the exact number, there's well over 100 ADA ramps.
How many?
96 plus 31. Okay, 96 plus 31 ADA ramps on this project. So that'll probably take us through, scheduled to take us through the rest of this construction season, and then the interior work along the corridor will happen, and that's when the urban roundabouts will be constructed. That's when the median islands will be constructed. That's when the traffic will then, shift to the two-way flow, and then obviously the signal work has to happen prior to that, because right now the signals that are going to remain are only one direction currently, so they have to switch to two-direction flow. So,
In terms of
and then resurfacing will happen
in terms
after
of
that.
disruptions to traffic patterns, are we looking to close a lane of the street sooner rather than later?
So, anticipated we'd be down to 2 lanes northbound traffic through this season. There could be situations where we have only 1 lane, but it'd be short duration flagger type situations. Depending, like bringing a concrete truck, that kind of thing. I think the people on this corridor have, we've had CRW come in and replace sewer lines. We've had and manholes. We've had UGI come in and replace the gas main in the past 18 months. So they're kind of used to that 2-lane or sometimes 1-lane pattern, which they can expect now for the rest of this season as well.
So it wouldn't require a closure or anything, just lanes being closed, but not the entire.
Yeah, there may be maybe erecting a traffic signal pole may require a closure, but it wouldn't be like a long-term closure, no. Or trenching of an inlet pipe, to connect to a main may require a closure, but again, it's not anticipated to be anything more than a few hours in the middle of the day.
Great. Any other questions?
So the repaving, would it just be this section or all sections?
So the resurfacing goes from Forester to Division, and then the tie-ins, so some of the cross streets, and then Maclay will go all the way to 3rd. The resurfacing of Maclay Street goes all the way to 3rd.
For the actual road work to begin, do you expect springtime then, or next spring?
The milling and
inside the
the
road,
milling and paving. Yeah, that would be next year, next spring. Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Yes! Dirt! We're ready. Transforming Harrisburg one intersection at a time.